Well, hello, welcome. I'm Maji Gibney, and you are here to learn to storm your brain, a unique approach to brainstorming for your college essay. So, before we get started, who am I to know? Well, I taught high school seniors for 23 years, and I have seen every kind of mistake and every kind of strong idea that my seniors have come up with. So, I'm here to help you write the most unique, the strongest essay that you can to show colleges just how much you deserve to go to their school. So today we're just going to work about brainstorming. We're just going to worry about brainstorming today. So you're going to need about a half an hour. So if you don't have a half an hour to do this exercise, then you might want to set this aside for now and do it at some other time. So why are we doing this? Well, one of the common mistakes that I see among students is that writing a good college essay is not just telling a story well, it's telling the right story well. And this is very important. I have seen students really freak out because they realize they're in the wrong story. No matter how much they do to write around the fact that they chose a bad story, doesn't work. And here's the reality. When it's a good story, you just know it and it's easier to do. It's like a conversation that you have with your friend when you're really passionate about something. It's much easier to get your story out, right? And probably your friend is going to like it a lot better because you're passionate about telling it. Well, I want you to come to this and be passionate about what it is you do, because your passion is going to be what somebody else sees and gets passionate about just by way of reading what you've passionately written. Hope I've said that right. So, moving on. So what is it that schools are looking for? Well, they're looking for signs of grit and social emotional intelligence. So what are these things? Well, grit is when you're perseverant, tenacious, passionate, optimistic, and self-disciplined. Who doesn't want to be around somebody who's gritty? Emotional intelligence, social emotional intelligence, is having insight, having empathy, being open to change, and reflecting rather than projecting. So what does this last one mean? Well, we talked first about how seniors sometimes are not in the right story and how that really does them in when they go to write their college essay. Another big problem I saw were students who were less reflective than they were projectives. They would write essays about how kind of pointing a finger at other people in their lives, which can really land wrong on college admissions officers. So what do I mean by reflecting rather than projecting? So let's say you're sitting in the passenger seat while your friend is driving down the highway. Said friend reaches for her cell phone and almost crashes into the car in the next lane. The car in the next lane honks, right? Doesn't want to get in an accident. And your friend drops his cell phone and goes, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. I will never, ever reach for my cell phone again while I'm driving in the car." Now you're in the passenger seat and you're kind of upset with your friend, but you're also really relieved to hear that she's going to not do it again. And you kind of believe her because in that moment where so many people don't reflect, she reflected. And we want to be around people like that. They make us feel safe, don't they? Now, imagine you're with that person in your life who's more of a projector, where everything is somebody else's fault. She's driving along the highway, reaches for the cell phone. Only this time, when the guy next to her honks, she says, that's the thing about so-and-so types of drivers, fill in the blank. They're always so fill in the blank. You at this point are nervous. You're on edge because you don't know if you want to get in the car again with this person. We don't trust people who project. We trust people who reflect. They see their mistakes and they're committed to changing. When we're able to see people being these things, we want to be around them. And a good college essay shows that you're somebody that people want to be around. Now, if you're not someone people want to be around, let this essay guide you to a better sense of self and some better ideas. Let this essay be the thing that makes you insightful. It can have that much power, writing, but I digress. Let's move on. For the following exercises, you're going to be asked about 6 questions, and you're going to need about a half an hour of time. Try one of these ways to get your thoughts out. Number 1, find a trusted loved one to listen to you answer each question. Number 2, record yourself answering each question, or three, grab a pen and paper. My favorite one is number 1. Because what I always tell my students is, guess what? You know how your English teachers are saying, we want to hear your voice? Well, we really do want to hear your voice. And I think this is a good way for you to hear your voice, quite literally, because then you can just take whatever you said and turn it into the written form, and you're halfway there at that point. If you do this with somebody you care about, somebody you love and trust, then you're going to be able to tell by their facial expressions, by their body language, if it's working or not. And we will internalize that and change the story to one that might be more interesting, more compelling, more robust. So I suggest you do this. Take a minute to go and do it. And when you're ready to come back, hit play. So you can pause me now. Make sure you're all set to do one of these things. Hit play when you're ready to go. All right, we're going to move on. The first question, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Huh? What are you supposed to do, right? Do not worry. This is what you need to do. You need to grab that piece of paper. You need to start talking to your loved one. You need to start recording yourself, and you're going to start with, I want, and list off as many things as you want. Doesn't matter if it's silly. Doesn't matter if you repeat yourself. I want. Set your timer for 2 minutes. When you're done in 2 minutes, set your timer for 2 minutes after you hit pause on this video. When you're ready in 2 minutes to proceed, you can hit play and we will move to the next slide. Hello, you're back. Hope it's working now. So you've written what you want. Good job. You only have about 5 more incredibly deep questions to go. So you can feel good about that. You got through the first one. Maybe some stuff came up, maybe it didn't. Maybe this isn't going to be an area that we're going to go to get you unstuck to write the college essay. So make sure you hit record. Make sure you're ready to go for the next question. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And when you're done in 2 minutes, you can hit play again. Here we go. Second question. I'm still here. Hold on 1 second. What do you love? What do you love? I love. As much as you can say about it. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Hit pause. And in 2 minutes, come back to us. And we're going to do the third question. Pause me. And get going. Excellent. So you've returned, and now you've answered the question about what you love. Maybe you're starting to feel a little less stuck. Maybe you still haven't gotten into the right question. Can't have the right answers until you've been asked the right question. Right? Sort of. At least in this case. So we're moving on to our next question, for which you'll have 2 minutes to record yourself or write things down. So here are some high school stereotypes, but I want you to play along a little bit because you might not really be any of these things. But let's just see what comes up for us creatively. The school nerd, the popular guy, the dumb kid, the smart kid, the emo kid, the skater, the class clown, the loner, the theater kid, the rule follower, the rule breaker, the jock. Which of these roles do you perceive yourself to fill? How did it come to be that people perceived you to be like this? How are you not like this stereotype? Or how do you want to get away from it? Or do you embrace the stereotype? Different ideas. So you've got 2 minutes to really think about how you show up to others. 2 minutes. I'll see you in 2. Excellent. So you had some time to think about who it is that you show up as being, at least in a high school setting. So now, if you can't already have predicted this, we're going to move on to the next question, which is, ta-da! Hello, computer. Hold on one second. Who are you outside of school? You've got 2 minutes. Go ahead and start recording or writing this down or talking to your loved one for 2 minutes. Hit pause on this screen, and I'll see you in 2. All right, so now that we've explored the terrain of the last slide about who you are outside of school, let's look at another question. How do you now respond to failure? Has it changed or has it remained the same? And for the next few slides, you're just going to see the words. I want to bring you deeper into the words, and so that you're not distracted by any images around you. But how do you now respond to failure? Has it changed? Has it remained the same? Think about what this would look like if it were a movie and we were watching you. How would we see you responding to failure? What would that look like? 2 minutes, hit pause on this video, hit record on your phone, start talking to your loved one or writing things down. Hit pause and I'll see you in 2. Great. So now you've done this prompt. Now you've completed this prompt. Hopefully you're starting to get unstuck and realize and find a story. But you might not be. We've got a couple more questions, so hang in there. We're about halfway done. And then we can start to move on to the next steps. What was one of the hardest things you've ever done, and what is still hard for you? If you come up with more than one answer to this question, no problem, but start talking to your loved one, start recording or start writing it down. You've got 2 minutes, hit pause on this video, and I'll see you in 2. Finish this off with answers, more than one belief, and you've only got about 3 more questions to go. I believe, and I want to hear more about what you believe than just one thing. Lots of things that you believe. I'll see you in 2 minutes. Hit pause on this video. Great. Now, for another 2 minutes, write about what you don't believe. I'll see you in 2 minutes. Hit pause on the video. And now, for 2 minutes, write about what you no longer believe. So think back to the things that you used to believe. How have they changed? I no longer believe. Hit pause on this video and start writing or start talking. See you in 2. Think of a person or thing that has created the biggest obstacles for you. How have they helped you grow? I know it's very tempting to think about the biggest obstacles as something that stunts our growth, but how do they help us grow? In there, we find grit. So this could be a really interesting answer if you're able to think about something to say. How have they helped you grow? You might want to start by writing thank you and see where it takes you, or saying thank you and see where it takes you. Hit pause on the video, and I'll see you in 2 minutes. Think back now to everything that you wrote. Now here's the funny piece. You don't really have to read it again, and you don't have to listen to your recording again. All you have to do is recognize that if you're still thinking about something you said or something you wrote down, that's probably where your story lives. So think back to what you wrote. That's probably where your story lives. If not, if you still don't have ideas, here's your homework. Pick 3 people who seem to really know you well and ask them to independently write 3 adjectives down that describe you. Collect the pieces of paper and look for a pattern, and when you find one, ask them to tell you what you did that made them think of the word. This may end up being your story. Maybe. Don't let this be your only video. Do your research, read exemplars online, check out my competition, and ask me questions below.